I really think Handshake can make a big impact on the world. There's 1,600 universities in the country that use it, which is 92% of the top 500 universities in the country. If you ask any one of the large frontier models questions, too oftentimes these models are not getting the answers correct. These models have kind of sucked up the entire corpus of the internet. And so what they need is they need experts. Handshake has one of the largest networks of experts that are captive and trust Handshake. Probably 90+% of the people doing work have already graduated. Just connecting like these dots. I want to learn more about AI in my area of research and actually apply it. What's cooler than getting paid like $125 an hour to like learn complex prompt engineering, what models are really good at, where they hallucinate and fail in different situations. We're really unlocking, I think, a lot of addressable opportunities around the business by participating at the forefront of like what labs are doing. At some points in the journey, it's easy to become like disenfranchised with like how hard it is to build a company. But if you just stack up as many hard days as you can, amazing things happen over the long-term building of a company.
Welcome to Grit. I'm Juven, partner at Kleiner Perkins, a show where we go beyond the highlight reel and explore the personal and professional challenges of building history-making companies.
Today on the show, we have Garrett Lord, co-founder and CEO of Handshake, and my partner and guest, Mamoon Hamid. From Michigan Tech to building a $3.5 billion company, Garrett has scaled Handshake into the career network for a new generation. We talk about distribution, durability, and how AI has exploded inside their organization. Enjoy the episode.
The first time I ever swam in that water was with you.
Yeah.
And after that, I mean, you were not like, I was like, oh, this guy's, I can't believe he's not cold. Like I thought my forehead was going to implode after we went swimming. And I told myself I'm never doing that again. And then, well, things changed.
That's pretty awesome. Congrats on finishing it.
Thanks.
You did a run on a bike too?
Running a bike. Started
Nice.
with the swim.
Awesome.
Yeah. Next year.
Yeah, I'm in.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm in.
Will you do it? You think
Yeah.
you get Shoaib too?
I think we can get Shoaib. I think we can get a bunch of guys. Yeah.
Moon?
Escape
Yeah.
from Alcatraz?
Yeah.
I'm down.
So
Sign
maybe
us up.
KP like founder event.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Next
I mean,
year. Yeah.
I know he does high altitude running
Yeah.
in the mountains, so I think you're set up for
Totally. We said the only thing I'm going to struggle with is get a baby out of the way and get through the first couple months, which I'm really excited about. 3 weeks out now. So
From the baby?
Yeah. So baby
Nice.
boy, which is pretty fun.
Congrats.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
But I think they'll be, by next summer,
How do you feel?
almost a year. I feel super excited for this next chapter in life. Married an amazing woman and feel super happy, and it's just excited to have build a family.
This is kind of a weird question, but do you think about like, all right, like business is going crazy right now. Like you're barely, like I imagine your time is already quite constrained. Do you think about that?
I think you just like learn how to evolve, and you make time for what you want to make time for,
Yeah.
right? Like you learn how to fit in what's important to you. And
Yeah.
so like for me, like being a father and being a great husband and being like, it's like, I think really important to me. And I think hopefully I'll learn, people laugh when I say this, but hopefully I'll learn how to like adapt and like get to a new mode. New work's exciting and work will always be there. It feels like there's always, fall asleep, there's more you can do. And it's like, it's about kind of prioritizing your time.
Mamoon, do you feel like, I mean, you have several kids, obviously.
Four
kids.
to be exact.
4 kids.
Yeah.
And everybody says, oh, you just become more efficient. Like your time is more valuable and you use your time more effectively than you did before. Do you buy that?
Absolutely. I am so much more prioritized in life, hyper efficient. You cut all the crap, garbage out of your time. And because what you want to focus on is your work. We obviously all love our work, right? And your family. And I think the third thing that you have to kind of fit in is stay healthy for your work and your family. And so there's a hyper prioritization that happens also for, hey, what's the most important thing for Handshake? Like thinking about how would I help Garrett prioritize, because I'm in this like dad mode of prioritizing my life like every day. And so I just found I've got so much better at work once I had like the third kid, which really pushed a lot more prioritization. And then fourth kid, you're just like, you have to go into ninja mode around prioritization. So yeah, I think it's been the best thing ever to actually have kids and bring true priority to your life.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Makes
cool.
you also realize like what we did before we had kids.
Yeah.
Like you think
Like,
about,
how are you spending your time?
like, Jubin, how are you spending your time on
I was
weekends?
just thinking that.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Not with kids. Yeah, not with kids.
One of the coolest memories I have of you, I remember pretty fondly, is like we're at this obviously very impressive, investor conference, and you're back to back meeting different people. We said hi, and you're getting pulled over to different tables, and then lunchtime rolls around. You grab lunch, work lunch, and then all 4 kids come out, and they're like pool attire, with like the buoys around
the
their
floaties,
arms, and you're like, I'm gonna do a little family hour and a half. Saw your kids, and then I saw you working all night. So it's like, it's cool. You figure out how to. That was really cute. All 4 kids headed to the pool.
Yeah. And especially when you can blend in your work with your family, which that event was amazing it allowed us to bring in both. It's a beautiful distraction.
Totally.
Or just like takes your mind away to like, and you see, I can't wait to see you interact with your baby boy.
Thanks. Yeah.
Because I know you'll be an incredible dad. But just seeing folks interact with their kids is actually really special,
Totally.
especially founders. Some of my founders that I work with have had kids recently, and one of them had like 3 back-to-back. And it's so adorable to see like little babies and the dad interaction. It's a beautiful thing.
I love it.
Like, this is the most surprising thing about this show. 250 whatever episodes in, there's only 2 themes that I've ever found across every guest, basically, sans maybe 1 or 2 exceptions. The first is not surprising, which is grit. Like, typically people that sit in your chair just have a unique ability to overcome hardship better than most. And the second is a strong partner at home. Like, to this theme around like kids and your partner at home, almost without exception, like 98.5% of guests are like obsessed with their partner, obsessed, like more than the rest of us. And that was very surprising to me, because like when I was growing up, examples of people that were successful, like that I looked up to, all ruined their home lives in pursuit of their career. And I have found almost the exact contrary in this show, which is like there's almost this well of a superpower that seems to come from home. Maybe it's kids, maybe it's your partner, that like gives you this tether to reality that I think is really, I don't know. Obviously, it seems to be really important for founders.
Well said. Yeah, I feel thankful every day. I have an amazing wife, and I have grown so much partnering with her in life. So yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of the people that I always look up to too, people I really look up to in life, like, they always pass on a couple pieces of like wisdom. It seems like it's like, I wish I got married earlier. I wish I had more kids. Like, it's the people that have made a big impact in the world and that are in like awesome marriages with their like adult children. And you look up and you're like, I don't know, that's what I view as a very successful life, making an impact and being in like a really happy and healthy partnership. So yeah, I'm excited for this chapter.
I get to catch up with Garrett a lot, obviously, but whenever we're having our one-on-one, I think that the first question you always ask me, how's the family? How are the kids? And I can't wait to have kids. I can't wait to be married. And this is like way before you met Jess. And this is like, when you're in your early 20s, like literally. That was, I always found it very cute and amazing. And you would express your excitement towards the point in life you're about to enter. We just got married a year ago, and baby boy coming. But it would always strike me that it was not common to get that question from a young, early 20s founder is, how's your family? I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to learn from you about how it is to, raise kids and be married. But it was a common theme. Has been a common theme.
Totally.
That's awesome. Speaking of kids, can I show you guys a picture? Can I show you guys a picture?
Oh, wow. You found that picture.
Look at that.
Yeah, where's the camera?
Yeah.
I mean, are you
Scott,
kidding?
Ben, and me. Yeah.
Are you kidding
and
me?
Austin, our intern, on the left. Yeah.
You and I look pretty similar at that age.
Are you? How old were you in that?
That was when we built those headshots, and we had a friend tie our ties because we wanted to, we were trying to look highly credible to these universities who would like insistently like not take our meetings. And so we thought it would be really helpful to be able to like, have like professional collateral and like, vanilla envelopes that we would send them. So we had our friend who's a photographer, Kevin, go in and go into the school building and take those pictures. And we bought those track jackets. Remember those are the identical track jackets as Palantir had back in the day. The Palantir forward deployed engineer, baby. That was like hardcore Silicon Valley. So I thought, as 24 or 23, I thought that was like, that just exuded engineering excellence and credibility. It's goofy.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Double pleated khaki pants.
Yeah. Yellow
Love
tie.
it. Love it.
Yeah.
Matching yellow ties here
Totally.
between this is all time. This is you and your co-founders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably, like 20. That was when we were seniors in college, trying to get our first 5 customers.
You were younger than 23 there.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Right. You're like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're 20 years old or something.
Yeah, totally.
And were you living in Michigan at this time?
Yeah, we were still going to Michigan Tech. We rented this it was in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. It's like Houghton, it's middle of nowhere. It's like closer to Canada than America. 350 inches of snowfall, Michigan Tech. And we'd worked out of this like $700 a month house, a bunch of us working on Handshakes.
And you had already done your internship at Palantir.
Yep, I did Los Alamos, then two summers at Palantir, and then had an offer to join Palantir and decided to take the big risk of like going all in on Handshake.
And
Had no safety net and went for it.
Can you talk about the insight from Palantir that maybe spawned Handshake?
Yep. It was a series of just total resets in my understanding of like what you could do in the working world. I mean, I grew up in a working class family in Michigan, like not complaining about it. Life was great, but I went to community college for 2 years, paid my way through taking general education classes to save up and to pay my way through college, went up to Michigan Tech. And then I got an internship at HPC 5 at Los Alamos, building doing
awesome.
InfiniBand memory benchmarking, like way back in the day. The guy that was my good friend in college became the co-founder of XAI, Ross Nordine, and we both went to Palantir together. So really smart kids on campus, Michigan Tech.
So cool.
Yeah. So
you were working on InfiniBand before it was cool.
Yeah, but way before it was cool.
Yeah.
And then I got all the kids said you gotta go out Silicon Valley. They were all going to these great schools, Stanford and Princeton, MIT. And so I dreamed of working at Palantir, and I got just tried to break down that door and got super lucky with a recruiter that knew this high performance computing 5 was a pretty legit internship and got me an interview in Washington DC at Palantir. And, it was hilarious. It was I got flown out. My dad's like, whoa, getting flown out for an interview, big time. I was like, yeah, they had a chauffeur, like a Cadillac, picking me at the airport. This is Mr. Lord.
Actually?
Yeah. My dad's like, this is big time, dude. This nerd shit's working out. So I never forget that. And I was like, because I'd never been a chauffeur before. And then I got the
Your dad's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
I love
he was so
Mr.
pumped.
Lord.
Yeah.
He's so amazing.
And so I got the internship and I met kids. And first I did cool things like working on National Center for Mission and Exploited Children and they flew me out to Hurricane Sandy to work at Team Rubicon. It's you're a smart, nerdy forward deployed engineer. We have this philanthropic partnership, go live with a bunch of vets in literally a school they took over. So you just got really inspired around this you could build anything. I worked with a ton of people that were starting companies and dropping out of school that went to Stanford and raising money from venture capitalists. And I was raising money, this is not lawn mowing or leaf collection or snowplow building this business. You're raising $2 or $3 million from VCs. So I was and I helped a bunch of my friends get internships at Palantir, and they would pay you money, $5,000, $10,000 for referral bonuses. Mr. Lord also was from going from student loans to paying for all of school, referring my nerdy friends to Palantir. Man, Silicon Valley is crazy. $5,000 to refer one of your friends? That's nuts. So I was maybe I could start a business like the Stanford kids did. That right around the time my sister graduated, she was always cooler than me, totally killed it in high school and college. And then she couldn't find a job. She kind of really became insecure about that. I had these smart friends at Michigan Tech where the coolest job you get was working at Target. I'm installing routers and you remember Purdue, right? There just isn't the type of economic opportunity that you saw at the GSB or I think at HBS, but you see at these better schools. And so I was maybe we could start a product that helps level the playing field. And that was the dream, and come a long way towards that. Now most students in America find their first job on Handshake. There's 18 million people that use it. There's 1 million companies on the network. We partner with like 1,600 universities across the country. So still with that same kind of core ethos. So like, how do you help people jumpstart, restart their career? And it's really expanded into like, how do you help also people manage their career like 18 to 30 and find that second and third job and like route between different careers and pick up new skills. So yeah.
Is your dad, is he still
in Michigan? Yeah.
what does he think now?
He's super proud.
Has it now set in like, oh, like this is like my son is doing huge things, like making it.
He's like, he loves. I sent him like the board materials.
I think he's deep into it, actually. He's deep into Garrett and Handshake.
Yeah. He'll like send me like notes, after, I send him the board materials and different reports.
I didn't know that.
He's giving me like his points of view. Yeah. He's super invested and involved and like just loves also this AI stuff we're doing. Is just like so fascinated about like, what's happening. He's really curious. He was always curious. Yeah.
So, and he stayed in Michigan.
Yeah. Stayed in Michigan.
You ever try and get him out here?
I do. He loves, he still like loves his building projects and staying busy. He's traveling more now. I don't know, like for him, I don't know if you just, in Michigan, you're just used to working, right? So it's like this idea that you're like traveling around all the time and visiting different places. He's like still probably invested in his work.
I want to talk about the AI stuff in a second, but like, does it set in for you? Like, do you have, like, when you look at yourself in the mirror, do you have any self-actualization? Like, are you like, oh yeah, I'm like this big time CEO now? Like, are you like insecure? Like, I got more to do? Like, how do you look at yourself at this point now?
Yeah, I really just try to remember like my roots and where I grew up and try to be just super humble and approachable. Like my friends are still the same friends for the last 10 years. Like still do the same thing on the weekends. Yeah, I have like, 4 sets of skis now. I used to like have to save up for a year and a half to buy 1 set of skis. But like, there's that cool quote, like, just try to stay true to yourself. And like, I'm pretty constantly reminded. I have like a couple things in my office. Like I have a picture of my dad's like old pickup truck, like I have a brick. This is a brick from, back when we first got our fundraising, our seed round, like one of the companies went out of business and they like gave away all their furniture. And in the office was like this brick. And I like have the brick in my office to remember like, how far we've come. So you just, try to stay grounded.
Where does the grit come from? Because, you famously lived in your car for, I don't know how many months, maybe even a year as you started Handshake.
Yeah.
Where did that motivation and drive come from?
The real story for the drive came from was I had this crazy idea to start Handshake. A bunch of my friends believed in me in school. We started working on it like nonstop for like 2 years. We would, this was back in the days when like Paul Graham was like just writing like essays for Y Combinator, and I'd read all those. I watched like Peter Thiel like start up school like Stanford, and talk to your customers. So we used to drive around. Or we bring up the car. It was like, Paul Graham says you got to talk to customers. Like we'll talk to all of our customers, and like nobody will take our meetings. So we're just gonna drive down and show up at their office. Because the best part about a career center is like it's a physical office, and people go there 5 days a week. And if you show up and you're 22 and excited,
and you're wearing that jacket,
they're gonna talk to you.
That's right, as long as you're in the tie.
Yeah. And so I used to drive down this like old Jeep from the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, to like all the schools in Michigan and Ohio and Chicago and Wisconsin, and like sleep on relatives' couches and friends' parents' couches. And my dad saw me become like really obsessed with, being like the Silicon Valley kids, like start their own company and want to start his own company. And so, and he worked, extraordinarily hard to provide for our family growing up. Like, it was very philanthropic with his time and like very involved in trying to create opportunities for me and my sister. And he had written basically, he invested in Handshake. And he essentially, over the fullness of like getting started, like basically spent like every dollar he had saved up for his retirement on Handshake. Pretty risk on. And that was a huge sense of responsibility. It was like my friends had turned down world-class opportunities to make like, 15 grand a year, live in a house with us in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. My dad had given us all of, the limited dollars that he did have, invest in the company. And there wasn't really like an opportunity. I couldn't fail. Like, the
Failure was not an
failure
option.
was not an option. And I feel really fortunate. My two co-founders and like the early team that we had built were like, my two co-founders took my dad investing in this company like extraordinarily seriously too. I mean, it's not easy. Like, we drove all the way down to like Wake Forest, and like sleeping in the back of this Ford Focus and like McDonald's parking lots, and like police are like, you're getting knocked, they call it, by the flashlight. And yeah, I mean, we ended up signing up 5 schools. And those 5 schools then turned into 60 schools. And, we moved out to Silicon Valley, but I think failure was not an option. Yeah, it was too important. Almost, also to bring it to life too, I think a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this. It's like, I think you put like a really heavy burden on yourself, and a lot of times, it's pretty unhealthy. But I'd like to say like sometimes it gets a lot easier, right? But you've been on our board through hard times, right? Like there are some chapters of your business where it's just really, really hard.
Yeah. What is the energy source for that motor?
I mean, I think if you just zoom out, like we're a lot of people at Handshake and myself, it's just like living a dream. This is so radically cooler than anything else I could have ever imagined in life, to like have this exposure and opportunity and teammates and funding and customers and this cool time of technology. Like, I don't know. I think you just the source of the motor, like I think I've been really inspired recently too, that like if you just at some points in the journey, it's easy to become like disenfranchised with like how hard it is to build a company. But if you just stack up, you're working as hard as you possibly can every single day. And every single day, like some days are 100, most days are not 100, right? You're like, give a 60%, you give 80%, like you didn't get enough sleep, it's an 85. But you just stack up putting together as many hard days as you can, like amazing things happen over the long term, building of a company. And so I think this motor, at least on my side, I really think Handshake can make a big impact on the world, on a lot of people's lives. I think it can make we're in a really unique spot of owning, this marketplace of companies, universities, and students. And I think there's, what we'd like to do is build like the largest job search, discovery, exploration platform on the internet. And like, it makes no sense that Indeed does like $9 billion revenue and it's just like a transactional search box, and you still log into LinkedIn today and the first question is like, what's your job? It's like, I actually don't have a job. I'm a college student, right? So we think there's a lot of opportunity to level the playing field for hundreds of millions of people around the world, hopefully in the fullness of time.
I have like goosebumps on my arm. Garrett, like the story of Handshake since the beginning, like I always thought it was crazy. And then as of like 6 months ago, I'm like, oh my God, it's like crazy all over again. Like it's completely, it's getting pretty cool. It's like pretty crazy. Yeah. And can I maybe give my own like quick timeline, and then I'd just love to listen to you talk about if there's anything I'm wrong about.
The real turning point was at the Kleiner Perkins holiday party. I don't know if you remember it. I don't know if you connect those dots. I'll tell you in a minute.
Tell me more.
I met a researcher at the Kleiner Perkins. The whole purpose of going to that party was, you got to catch up with people and say hi to people. Yeah. I ditched my wife and hung out with one person the entire time.
This is like this is December of 2024.
And I spoke to a researcher at the #1 lab, and I just wouldn't let him go. I just talked to him for like 4 hours. His wife came over. I'm like, I'm sorry, lady. Like, you got to back away. Like, I gotta keep on asking this guy questions. But that was a huge moment for me, because then I got hell bent on. I kind of started to figure it out.
Great party.
Yeah. Well, and so maybe just go ahead. Like that. What was the thing that you were hell bent on? Like, what was the thing that caught your interest with him?
Yeah. Well, what was interesting is, maybe 18 months ago, many of these companies that produce data for the foundational model companies started coming to us being like, do you have master's students and do you have PhD students? And do you have bachelor students that are in like audio engineering, for example? And we did. I mean, Handshake has, 18 million young people that use their product, including 500,000 PhDs and 3 million master's students. So we started serving them to these, what I would call like middleman companies, brand names that you know of today. And what we started really hearing kind of was interesting. Like labs started to reach out to us. The Frontier Labs started to reach out to us asking for this talent. Many of the PhDs and master's students were saying they were like frustrated by the experience as it related to like not getting trained effectively, not getting paid on time, not retaining with the core product experience. And putting all the pieces together, I started to hear this. And in November, I went to the Kleiner holiday party and I spoke with a researcher at one of the Frontier Labs who worked with some of these other players. And he just spilled the beans. Like he told me, he kind of explained exactly how the labs were evolving, what type of frontier data they would want to use. He was blown away that we had so many people leveraging the network. And he was like, well, why don't you enter this business yourself? And so I remember calling you over like Christmas and New Year's. We decided on our side that we wanted to turn off the access to these other players in the space. And we wanted to go direct to the labs with what we believe in the human kind of data business is like the only defensible advantage you have in that business is like access to an audience.
Yeah.
You have essentially like, operational horsepower and the ability to generate high volumes of data quickly. But really the primary challenge that we have a strategic advantage around is like zero customer acquisition costs and a ton of institutional trust built up over a decade with millions and millions of people. And so,
So for example, OpenAI or whatever, one of these labs would come to you and their model is spitting out some algorithm, something around some scientific discovery, and they need somebody to look at that and basically train it and say, is this right? Is this wrong? They need somebody with a specific set of expertise to basically look at whatever that model is producing within a given domain and then ask the expert.
Yeah. What's big like a great, very simple story, which is like, people talk about agents all the time, right? Like agents requires an ability to follow step-by-step instructions or, fundamental idea behind agents is you understand like reasoning and the reasoning choices need to be correct. So if you ask any one of the large frontier models questions and you ask it to break down its thinking of its step-by-step instructions, too oftentimes these models are not getting the answers correct. So when you think about a model, it's like you have compute, you have algorithms, and you have like data. Those are like the three things that matter with models. Everyone's applying a ton of compute. Everyone's constantly evolving algorithms, and people are obviously chasing after one another in terms of algorithmic prowess. And then you have data, and data is what really fuels the gains on what are called the post-training side of the house. Post-training is human data. And what we do is, the world's evolved from like generalists, where you were predominantly leveraging like international skilled, lower cost labor, taking advantage of an arbitrage between that, to now these models have kind of sucked up the entirety of the entire corpus of the internet and every book and video. They've also sucked up and they've gotten good enough where like generalists are no longer needed. The models are actually better than generalists. And so what they need is they need experts. They need experts in accounting and law and medicine. They need experts in coding. They need experts in STEM domains like physics, math, chemistry. And designing a network that's focused on experts and treating those experts well and making it an amazing community experience with high retention where people can, we're connecting to like badges on your profile and leaderboards by school. We have access to millions of experts. So these experts, it's pretty cool. You can make like 60, 80, 100. I think our average bill rate's over $100 an hour, like, $125 an hour applying your expertise in the domain that you're studying. You're getting a master's in accounting and you're getting paid $100 an hour to provide data and correct models. And we're doing really also wild things like, audio, like a ton of audio work, like these models. I won't get too far into it, but, in the areas of trajectories and, tool use and text data and coding data, like Handshake has, in our opinion, like one of the largest networks of experts that are captive and trust Handshake. And so we're trying to build a great experience for them to produce data for the labs.
And can you just walk me through okay, they find an expert on math or science. What is that expert actually doing?
An average frontier lab, of which we work with 6 of them, most of the frontier labs, let's pick something like mathematics. So they all care about, and let's merge mathematics with educational design. So an analogous type of project that we would do for a lab is actually explaining and breaking down the decisions around how you would teach a particular math problem to a student. So you'd be applying mathematics experts who would actually agree on the step-by-step, like, here's how I would solve the problem. and you'd merge that with educational design PhD around whether you like option A or option B more. And you might even get more specific, like you might provide like hints, or you might provide data around students in the Southeast prefer this educational design pattern, whereas students in the Northwest prefer this educational design pattern. So it's a public paper. So you go in, if you're a physics PhD, you break the model. You identify a reasoning error in a step-by-step instruction flow. You correct the reasoning flow, and then you provide the ground truth right answer. And then they do things like, pass at K1, pass at K3, pass at K10, which is like, does the model, because they're non-deterministic, does the model get it right 1 out of 3 times, 3 out of 3 times, get it right 1 out of 10 times? So we'll actually go in and provide distributions of data around how many times is the model passing this question. Here's what the right answer is. And that would be an example of like a physics PhD focusing on like their area of research, asking, questions the model cannot do today, and providing the actual right answers. Most of the data we produce, if you were to read it, like, you could lock me in jail for like 30 days and ask me to solve one of these physics problems. Like,
it's not happening.
You can't even I can't even barely read the type of data that we create, because, it's really experts in PhDs.
Yeah. And then like the goal is, okay, frontier model gets better as a result. And the next time somebody, Mamoon, like asks the model a question around the thing that you just asked it, it'll produce a generally accurate response.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can even make it simpler than that, which is like, so model companies, they measure themselves. There's many ways to measure themselves. This is just our, a point of view that we hear regularly, which is like, there's like a model card. So if you look at like one of the latest models, let's pick like Llama 4.
Yep.
There'll be a model card. And the model card talks about its skill set in coding and MMLU. It has all these like what are called benchmarks or evals. Evals are essentially, you try never to expose your model to the actual like eval, because then it will like know the right answers. So it's like, it's held out. It's like, you're never trying to give that data into what the model's being trained on, so that you actually understand whether it's improving in an area or not. And so what customers regularly come to us with and ask us for is data that helps improve a capability area of a model, targeting getting better on these evals or benchmarks. And so they're asking for, if you can imagine what they're focused on, it's like all the economic use cases of models. They want more professional domains. They want to be able to use tools. They want to be able to, do trajectories to actually be able to like solve problems. Like think about like investment, where you're putting together like a total addressable market and then building a slide deck and then breaking down a model. Like they want to be able to stitch together, many of the labs, like they had an entire flow, agentically. And so we're providing data that they use to evaluate their model's performance and to train their models to make it better in certain capability areas.
Like, so you go to the holiday party, you like start, like your brain starts going, calling Mamoon. Like, how long did it take before you decided, oh, like we're going to build this product? Like we're going to go for this.
Yeah, it was 2 funny stories there. One funny story was like, so you can never pick the timing of when you get all energized about something. So I got super energized. I got charged up. I like canceled like there's a couple of things you can do now that we have more resources that you couldn't do when you first started Handshake. Like one, you can hire expert firms like GLG and TGIS and Alpha Insights. I know their names because we hired them all. And you could be like, I want to spend $50,000 on each one of these expert networks. Like sign me up. So I first like signed up to all the expert networks. I started like basically going into my network and trying to meet with anyone and everyone that would talk to me about the space. I basically canceled like basically everything. And I would
you cleared your calendar just to go for this.
I would sit on these expert calls from like, I wake up like 5 a.m. in the morning because it was 8 o'clock East Coast. I was so energized. I would just go nonstop talking to like researchers and product managers and people at companies that worked in this space and academics. Like TGIS and these other companies are pretty liberal around who they'll bill you for on your time. So I started talking to everyone, and I started whittling it down to be like, I want to talk to, I really built a point of view on how I want to talk to. And then I was like, wow, we are so well positioned to build this business. And then I was upset with myself. I was like, how did I miss this? Like, this is ridiculous. And my wife's like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, so then it was like Christmas. And so my wife has family. She has their home has a place in Arizona. And I just told the whole family, I was like, this Christmas, I love all you guys, but like, I basically am like not going to be here. And so, I remember I was talking, I would just fly out of Phoenix and I went to like New York and I went to like Seattle 3 times. I was like, just like chasing people. Cause one of my key things I think about building a company is you got to like hire great leaders who can help you build this business. And I recruited like 3 incredible folks who joined the team. And I also built this like elaborate spreadsheet of basically like on these GLG calls, I would ask like who I should hire. And I basically had like a point system it was not that savvy, but just like, and I had this one guy who will remain unnamed. He'll know who he is, but he consistently came up at the very top. And there was another guy that came up very at the top in the industry. And now the 2 top guys that everyone thought I should hire, I have hired both of them now on the team, which is pretty awesome. And you know, I did not take no with this one guy. I mean, like almost flew out to like guitar on like a last minute plane ride. Like, you know, just like, you know, you got to go full force.
Insane. I do not want to divert too far from this because I have so many more questions, but the way you recruit is a full contact sport.
Yeah.
Can you talk about?
It's gotta
like,
be, right? Every founder's like this.
You're like, not every founder will.
Yeah. A little different.
Not every,
full contact.
Yeah.
Some people are playing tennis.
Yeah. You're like the bruiser on the hockey team.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like when you were like, for example, like be specific about these 2 AI researchers. When you say I wouldn't let him go, like I wasn't going to take no for an answer. What does that mean? Like you have a first call, they say, sorry, but I'm getting paid a gajillion bucks at wherever I am. Like I'm happy here. I'm working on this project. The normal stuff that you hear.
Well, both are kind of iconic stories.
Go ahead.
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean,
definitely interesting.
So like one of the guys, he had accepted another offer to join an early stage company. And this is like, I think it's like right around New Year's, like right before New Year's, like in between Christmas and New Year's, where like a lot of people aren't working. And he was the number 1 guy on the spreadsheet that I had been told to hire. And I did an intro call with him, like introducing myself and, you know, talking about our business and why I thought we had the right to win. And he was pretty intrigued. He's like, well, can we meet? I'd love to meet again. And like any, you know, good sales rep or founder, you like book the next meeting on the call. You know, you don't like push the email to schedule. And he's like, well, I have like a bunch of family stuff going on. Like I can meet tomorrow at like 11 o'clock. I was like, cool. Like go see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So we talked again at 11 o'clock. My whole Wolf family in Arizona was like, this kid is just weird, like diabolical. Like
this is a phone call. You're in Arizona, you're on a phone.
And then I earned the right because I didn't want to be a little bit too aggressive and like fly out to him, but I like was trying to get the right to fly out to him because that's a little weird if you just say I'm going to fly out to you like right away. So you can't look too desperate. So then at that 11 o'clock meeting, then I like sealed the deal where it was like casual enough that I could then fly out to him. And so I flew out to him. We ended up like taking over.
Where'd you fly?
I flew to San Jose and then drove up to him. And we ended up chatting. And he was supposed to start in like early January at this next company. And I spent like 3 or 4 days with him in person, brainstorming and building alignment and learning from each other on what we could build and what the assets were of Handshake and how much engagement we had. And he decided to join the team. So that's like, that was.
Sorry, you spent 3 or 4 days in San Jose?
Yeah, in San Jose.
Like you left Phoenix?
Yeah.
You left Arizona?
Yeah.
During the holidays.
Well, I'd actually fly out in the morning and then fly back in the evening. And then I did, 2 trips. Yeah. Yeah. So fly there.
Full contact.
I was also chasing a guy in Seattle. That was fun. And then I think one of the coolest the even better story, iconic one is this other guy who lived in Qatar gave me an opportunity. You know, I'd been hounding him to meet with him while he was in New York for his 30th birthday party. And so I flew to New York to meet with him, and he gave me a little bit of time at his 30th birthday party weekend. And we ended up 1 hour turned into like a couple hours, a whole morning. And then he canceled his birthday weekend plans with his friends and flew back with me, and Mamoon cleared his calendar. I was like, I am coming back red eye to San Francisco, like with, package inbound. Like,
package inbound. Yeah. It was like,
I meet with you.
Hot.
Yeah. I had this
coming in hot.
Yeah. And we met. And
it was like, it was partners meeting day, and we got to meet.
Thank you for finishing.
Yeah.
And now he's been good in both these, there's been several leaders, but both these 2 guys are incredibly instrumental in building our business.
Yeah, full contact. And I'm curious, like, because I think I was saying this a few weeks ago, Mamoon. Like, I have not seen many incumbent businesses. It's even weird to think of you as an incumbent, but like, you know, a business that's been around for the last 7+ years, pre-AI era, that takes their base and then leverages it in such an advantageous way to like take advantage of this market right now. I have very few examples.
You know, you've been building Handshake for, you know, a decade almost.
Yeah.
Right. And I think of Handshake, you always had this goal to democratize access to opportunities for early talent. Right. And this is not a departure from that goal. It is early talent. This happens to be master's, PhD students, and you're connecting them with frontier labs where there's real work for them to be done. It is, you know, maybe a slight departure from the core selling software to Fortune 500 companies, which we still do, and we own that market as a company, and we own the career center at 99 point whatever percent of universities in the country and beyond. But I don't see it as too much of a departure. We just utilize that asset that we're building for the last decade to then build another business on top. So now, compared to other companies that have done this, I just, in my mind, just going through this right now, I remember Roblox, very different company, had a good like decade of just building the infrastructure to build the kind of games that you can build on Roblox. And it was not, I think for like a good decade, it was not like a thing. Like kids weren't going on Roblox and creating these, you know, characters and worlds and all that stuff. And it took but if it wasn't for everything that had been built in that prior decade, the Roblox that we know today wouldn't really make sense or exist. So that's a 20-year-old company, but only in the last decade has that hockey stick revenue adoption engagement happen. You know, then I think about like, you know, some of our own companies that, you know, we backed an e-commerce company called Amazon, yet enterprise value, you know, of AWS probably eclipses that of the e-commerce business. Or another one of our greats, Google, like, you know, search business, which is still an amazing business, but there are a couple of other businesses that have since then, you know, whether it's maps and then there's productivity and now cloud. Some greats get to have Act 2, you know, but it's after Act 1 is really working. And it's at a higher revenue base. It's not at like several hundred million. It's usually like $1 billion plus of revenue base from the core that gives you that wind in your sails to go do Act 2. And I'm not even sure this is Act 2 for us, Garrett. I'm not sure if you fully agree, disagree on sort of the rationalization of where we are in the age of AI with Handshake. But it's not common necessarily, but I don't think it's actually, this is like a big departure from the core mission of Handshake.
Totally. I mean, think about it, like LinkedIn is an incredible business, right? They have, I think it's like 5 or 6 revenue lines over $1 billion, right? They have marketing solutions, talent solutions, they have sales solutions, they have Lynda and learning, they have the Job Seeker Pro product. I mean, there's several business lines that are over it. So I think when you build an engaged audience, to your point, there are many ways to monetize it. And I think, you know, what I'm constantly encouraging our team to think about is like how we really are like connecting what we're doing in human data to our core marketplace. Because what we really want to do is be the best matching marketplace for people to find great jobs, right? And explore and discover and build like a whole network around that. And so what we're doing with this human data business is just fueling data that helps us get better at recruiting in our core marketplace.
And maybe just for the audience, just the three-sided marketplace that we are today. Just to maybe make that crystal clear.
There's 1,600 universities in the country that use it, which is 92% of the top 500 universities in the country. They're basically, if you're kind of older listening to the call, if you know anyone in college, you could text them right now and there's 0% chance they haven't heard of Handshake. Like everyone's on Handshake in America. If you're 18, 19, 20, 21, trying to think about a first internship, first job, like you're on Handshake and you're on Handshake more than you're on LinkedIn. And we are growing that audience beyond college, like larger and larger every single year, and aspire to like, you know, go bottoms up against these large incumbents as their trusted place they go to find internships, or they go to find jobs. There's 1 million employers that recruit on the network, including 100% of the Fortune 500. So every single Fortune 500 company, this is the primary way they hire students. There isn't a small business, medium-sized business, large business in America that recruits from college without most likely coming through Handshake, because we power all of the schools. And yeah, the network's very, very strong in college. We're growing, and we're growing in France and Germany and the UK as well.
Can I, like, you made a comment of like, you're not sure this is Act 2. Do you think it's Act 2?
I mean, it's definitely a totally new business unit inside of the company with a different set of capabilities and a different set of leaders. But we're really leveraging, and it's been a very much like a 0 to 1 in building this business. But a lot of what we're doing is monetizing the core asset and audience and we always dreamed of like monetizing and always thought we would be able to monetize there would be many ways to monetize this audience over the long term if we could get them engaged and get them to trust us and get them to use us regularly.
It is
also for PhDs and master's students. For PhDs in particular, there weren't that many. I mean, it's actually like the community we're building with PhDs and professionals on the network now. Now we're acquiring like lawyers and accountants. Like it's really quite cool to build like professional community. If you were a PhD, like there wasn't really a place on the internet that you felt super welcome before.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of a no-brainer. Like my mom was getting her PhD until she was 34 years old. When she was like 33, 34, like, and you told her from Iran, she could like be in the US and solving like, you know, like science problems for $100 an hour. She'd be like, is this a joke? Like
Totally.
all day.
Totally.
Keeps her mind sharp. You get to meet other PhDs. Like that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you have some pretty amazing stories.
Yeah. I think some of the best stories are like where students, when you think about it as a PhD student, or almost all the people that do work on our platform, though, people don't really realize this. They're like probably 90+% of the people that are doing work have already graduated. So they're all alumni on the network. So like people don't realize how large the alumni network is on Handshake. And yeah, like a pretty awesome story is like just connecting like these dots, which is like, I want to learn more about AI in my area of research and actually apply it. Well, what's cooler than getting paid like $125 an hour to like learn complex prompt engineering, learn what models are really good at, learn where they hallucinate and fail in different situations, learn how to elicit failure. Like what we're hearing from people is that they're actually bringing a lot of these skills then back into their area of expertise. And then connecting it to like employers, we're already doing this today where it's like companies want to be able to recruit these AI digitally, like the word right now is cracked, like software engineers, right? And so it's like, how can you actually be able to help articulate like who's really good at these tools? And then companies are asking us like, how can we upskill our young employees and employees with these schools? So we're really unlocking, I think, a lot of addressable opportunities around the business by participating at the forefront of like what labs are doing.
It's amazing. Garrett, when over the COVID timeframe, things went crazy, like hockey stick up and to the right, then ZERP era ended, your TAM started to saturate, meaning like you were in most of the Fortune 500, you were in most of the schools, right? The 490 or whatever. And so you start figuring out like, all right, like what, you know, like you want to keep growing the business. And I remember you were like, yeah, there's a moment where the business is not growing like it used to be. And that was like very unnerving, right? You were like, totally. You felt the ants in your pants to get back to the growth that we were at. And it's funny because you always talk about finding a second act and a third act, but like you didn't. Sometimes you just kind of got to be in the game. And then all of a sudden serendipity hits you across the face at, in this case, our holiday party. And you're like, oh, here it is. Like, this is the thing. And you're kind of beating yourself up. But like, sometimes you can't like plan for that. You can't like, I don't know. You just can't plan for these things, these moments in time. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm in this really cool organization I've learned a lot from and have grown a ton from called like YPO with other CEOs going through the exact same trials and tribulations, like trying to build companies. And there's this like big proverb in our group, like you just can't quit. You know, you just got to like stay in the game. And yeah, I mean, building a company also for all the people that aspire to build companies or currently build companies that are listening, it's like, it's, you know, Mamoon knows it's like there's super highs and super lows. And, you know, you staying in the game, like you hopefully can create, you know, there's always ways to create opportunities. In our core business, like we have less than like 3,000 companies that pay on the network. There's 1 million companies that use it. So like right now, our self-service business is adding $1 million a week in addressing small businesses on the network. That business should be $400 million, like minimum $500 million just from small businesses, right? There's no pro products, like there's no mid-size products. So all we do is basically sell the largest companies in the world, great products. And we have opportunities to like level the playing field for medium and small businesses that can actually go out and be as competitive as like Google is in recruiting. So, if we just drag out like single digit percentage, conversion rates on 1 million companies using Handshake, there's still a ton of value to be built in the business. And then yet alone like the post-college opportunity, the international opportunity, the opportunity when we think about like building this large matching marketplace globally. So I remain like very optimistic, but yeah, we got punched in the face super hard when the economy like fell off, business started to decelerate. We had to, it was really hard. I feel extremely like proud of all our team and the people that stuck through it and helped us like, get back to that winning mentality internally. And now like confidence, the juju's high at Handshake. Like people are excited.
Well, dude, no kidding. Can I ask you on the how you organize the business internally when you have this new thing that's coming up? And you said you do a 0 to 1, like it feels 0 to 1, like you're recruiting these researchers, almost as if it's a new startup. How do you orchestrate that? Same building? Are they the same resources? Are you sharing resources?
I think we'll soon have a separate office just right now because it's growing like where I like people like 12 people are starting every Monday, right? So it's like, and we'd love like 20 people to start every Monday. So we just turned down a $20 million project like yesterday morning because we can't deliver on it. So the way you operate, it's been very fun to like run back a second company inside of a company and you like learn lessons. I don't know what you want to, do the same way and what you want to do differently. I think the second time around, like I've really been leading with like a lot of authenticity, like I have to really learn like authenticity matters so much. And like, you don't have to be perfect, but if you like, you're, a good person and you're trying your best every day, like just like people give you the benefit of the doubt and just being more forward facing with the team. That was something I think I fell into like some patterns around when Handshake was struggling of just being like too scripted and not authentic and too disconnected. So I've really learned a lot about that in turning around our core business around leading with authenticity that I brought from just day one in this new business, Handshake AI. It's been pretty fun. Last night we were at the office till 2:30 in the morning, which is like,
are you serious?
Yeah, it's been pretty insane. Like lowest sleep scores my entire life for sure over the last several months.
Lower than like the sleeping in McDonald's parking lot days?
Well, I was like also 22 back then, so it's much easier. I'm like 35 now. It hits way differently getting like 4 hours of sleep at 35 than 22. And the team's like super excited about. So I don't know. To answer your question more specifically, it's like, we have, we've really kept things super flat in the new business. Everyone like rolls up to me essentially. I have like direct exposure to like all the leaders running everything. I really am not trying to, in this new environment when it's small, you're like you try not to be the boss. I like to say in meetings, like I'm just another really smart guy trying to participate with my opinion in the meeting and would love like to encourage active debate and like different points of view. We have superstar team that are like extraordinarily capable. this team that we built, like kudos to them, and people are giving it so much effort. They're so passionate. They're trying so hard. We're just, so the main thing I constantly am encouraging everyone saying is like kind of a lesson I learned from my dad. It's like, you just never want to wonder what if. It's like we have this once in a lifetime opportunity, like just give it your all and try to lead every day and never wonder like what if, right? Like give it your all. And then in the core business, we have incredible leaders that it's more scaled up. You set annual goals, you break it down into like what you accomplish quarterly, you break that down at the manager level to like what happens weekly. It's like, it's more systematized in how we track progress. Whereas, our demand tripled last month, right? So it's like, you can't have a set of like OKRs in this new business. So hopefully that's helpful.
Do you put any constraints around it? Meaning like, do they have unlimited access to capital? Like, do you think about any of the constraints that a early company would have?
Yeah. We have some like really constructive conversations at the board meeting. We want to operate at like a strong gross margin profile for this business. And the way it generally works right now in the industry is like, you'll subsidize some of the early pilot work to basically break in the door and like prove yourself. Single digit, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of like pilot work. Once you prove yourself and you're producing high quality data faster than anyone else, then you get an opportunity to like scale up these projects and participate in more volume. And at that point, we're very transparent about our margin. People like working with us because they're researchers, like they're engineers, like they would prefer not to even be on the phone with us. Like, can we just like handle this via Slack, right? So if we can just make this you don't need to bring it. What's also fun is like, I've traveled so much all around the world selling Handshake, and like all I have to have is 6 customers, and they're all engineers like me who like don't like being sold to.
And just on Slack.
Yeah, just on Slack. It's like the best, right? It's like do a good job and you will rip. And so we are doing a very good job. We don't overpromise. We're super transparent on our margin profile. We just, kind of beat and raise and like, don't set too high of expectations. And the business right now is, it's just flooding in.
It's insane. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And like interesting, obviously, like just broader validation in the market that a comp, it's not the same comp, but a comp, Scale AI got bought for whatever it was, like $16 billion for
half the company.
For half the company. And to Meta, like there's something here. I don't know what it is, but like you're fishing in an interesting pond right now.
Yeah, and I would say just it's a testament to Garrett as a founder and the very trite founder mode, but it's true testament to just like when you have, one could say that the same circumstances, Handshake as Handshake, with someone else at the helm would not have seized the opportunity the way you have. And that's just a testament to the grit, the resilience, the motor that drives you, Garrett. And I think maybe 9 out of 10 times it probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for your ingenuity and your thought process and your desire to go make it happen.
Thank you.
I totally agree. And you have to go inject energy into this business, and only you can do that. Like that Handshake energy that comes from the core that feeds into this different business, like that comes from you. I'm stoked we got to do this. Thank you guys. Are you hiring? Like what like
20 a week.
Yeah. Like, at midnight last night, we made the decision we're hiring for Handshake guy in New York. So if you're in New York, we're trying to build the whole team in San Francisco and build that like culture up and keep the kind of connectivity super tight. But there's just so much demand. We're now opening up Handshake AI in New York. So if you're in New York, we'd love to hire you. We're hiring dozens and dozens of people across engineering, operations, products. And yeah, it's a really, we also have an incredible team that works in our core business, super talented people. We're hiring at huge volumes there. So if you're passionate about this mission or interested in working at the complete frontier of where tech is headed, like we'd love you to apply. You can find us at joinhandshake.com.
I can't help myself. I have one more question around hiring. Like this idea of headcount is going to get smaller. Like that businesses are going to be built with way less people. I haven't totally seen that. Like when there's an opportunity like this, it seems to me that most companies are like, all right, we're going to go take advantage of this opportunity and appropriately staff it. I don't know. It seems like you're doing the same.
Yeah. I mean, we're just get to focus people on different problems and hire less people in certain, I think, there's two things you'll kind of hold true at the same time. Like one, like there hasn't been as much impact on our core company with AI as you'd expect. And B, it's also like completely underhyped and the impact over the time will be like much larger than we imagine. It also is like these AI, just like algorithms and neural networks in particular, like have been incredibly impactful in our core business. I mean, we have this like completely agentic interviewer where Mamoon's taking it, you interview with it and it grades you on a rubric. And we're like, you can't hire 3,000 people in a month without using AI tools, right? So we're embedding all those tools in our core marketplace. So I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but yeah, I think we'll see significant impact to the number of people we hire at Handshake vis-a-vis these AI tools. And that's what we're hearing from companies in the network as well. Like what they really want. So it's kind of fascinating. Like there's two schools of thought. One school is there will be no jobs for students in the future because AI will automate away all entry-level jobs. And the other school of thought is actually the companies want these like 8x, 10x, like digitally enabled productive employees. And, take an example of like an engineer in our team I spoke with yesterday, like he had a PR up in a day and a half using Cursor in our mobile code base. It's like nobody does that like without these tools. And what we're hearing from our companies is that, yes, they're going to hire less people in certain roles out of college, but there's an incredible appetite for people like take social media marketers that like know how to use Dolly and like marketing analytics tools. Like there's an opportunity to help these people really find great opportunities in companies that want to hire one person that's like the equivalent of 8 people. And I think that's what we're hearing from our companies.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll just add that we're seeing our companies that are doing a lot more with less people, or just shipping way more, way faster. What would take a year is happening in 3 months with half the people. And a key metric to just keep track of for all of us is just revenue per employee. And I think that's what's going through the roof is the efficiency or the amount of revenue being generated per employee is actually increasing at a rate that we've never seen before. Because what's happening is like you're building products, you're selling it for a lot more and have a lot less people building those products. And so I think that is really happening. I was actually just at a board meeting yesterday. Series A company built so much product already. And direct question was, hey, you have 20 engineers. How many engineers would have taken 2 years ago, 3 years ago? 80 engineers. So you're seeing that truly flow through where tools like Windsurf, Cursor, and all the other supporting products that go along with building products, you can just do so much more with less.
Totally. Guys, thank you. When you hear the word grit, what do you think of?
I think my dad. Yeah. Pretty gritty guy.
Thanks for doing this, guys. Really fun.
Yeah.
That's it for now. If you liked the episode, please leave us a review or go back into the archives where we've done more than 200 episodes with some fantastic folks. This podcast is a Kleiner Perkins production, and I'm Juven. Thanks for listening.